Glorious afternoon, Cross Church family. It's my turn this week to speak on behalf of just pouring a little bit into your life. And I just want to say before I start, thank you all so much for just from the Facebook messages to the text messages received directly of people just asking and wondering if I was okay after my bariatric surgery. It was greatly appreciated. I just want to let you all know that I love you and I thank you so much for doing that. I tried to act as the surgery wasn't that big of a deal, but it kind of was to me. So I'm grateful that everyone was looking out for me and was just wanting to make sure that I was okay. And second, I want to speak on behalf of that because while at, or I should say during recovery time, I was having a little bit of a rough spot. And I'm going to go over some scripture with you to kind of help bring some context as to why I was feeling and why I started to think this way afterwards. So, when I was at the hospital, I was feeling miserable. Like, you have to do so much walking around after you get done with the surgery. So, you have to go in there like really early in the morning. And when you do so, after getting out, I was probably done by around 11. Of course, I wasn't conscious from, after like 7 to 8 because the surgery and recovery was about 2.5 hours combined. So I was still pretty out of it by that point. But while I was doing that, or when I finally came out of that and was told to like get up and walk around, try and sip on some fluid, you're gonna feel nauseous, you're gonna feel all kinds of points during this recovery time. I was walking through the hospital, and I said to myself, because the sad part was I even told Therese this. I was like, don't worry about like people coming up or I'll be fine. I even told her to go home, that I'll be fine. I'll be good by myself. It's only like a day at most, so I should be okay. So then I'm sitting up here at the hospital, walking around half naked because they give you those little smocks that let you just breeze all out in the back, so you just feel half naked. Granted, I still had two to put on so I could treat like a gown, but I still felt like completely nude from the bottom half down. And so I'm just walking through, pushing my little IV cart. As I'm just walking through there, I'm going through pain, mumbling to myself. And I kid you not, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so bored. I'm in so much pain. What was I thinking? Man, I almost wish I could just ask the doctor to give me back my belly and let me go back to my normal life. And then once I said that, I immediately was just caught with like a thought of, did you just really ask to have your belly come back? Like, after all you've been through? Pardon me. After all you've been through, you want to go back to the way you were before, despite the fact that your surgery was a success, that you had very little to no complication, very little to no nausea. All the tests the doctors were running or having me perform or do physical activities, I was excelling well above and beyond what most people, even other men in my age and bracket, would still struggle with. So I was like performing very well, and I still was over here trying to complain. And this is where I'm going to reference another group of people who were complaining, even though they kind of had it pretty good. And this is where you're going to get that comparison. And I'm going to go to Exodus 16. And you'll probably remember this part because, to give some context to it, this is a moment in time that God had used Moses to set the Jews free. And they are just now, if you come before Exodus 16 to back to Exodus 15, Moses is literally leading the people in songs and praise of God and how he was able to defeat the Egyptians and how he moved the sea and just all kinds of praises about the Lord. And then we come to Exodus 16, And it reads, verse 1, then all the Israelites left Elim. They reached the western Sinai desert between Elim and Mount Sinai. And on the 15th day, on the second month after leaving Egypt, then the whole community of Israelites began complaining again. They complained to Moses and Aaron in the desert. They said, it would have been better if the Lord had just killed us in the land of Egypt. At least there we had plenty to eat. We had all the food we needed. But now you have brought us out here into the desert to make us all die from hunger. Then the Lord said to Moses, I will cause food to fall from the sky. This food will be for you to eat. Every day the people should go out and gather the food they need that day. I will do this to see if they will do what I tell them. Every day the people will gather only enough food for one day. But on Friday, when the people prepare their food, they will see that they will have enough for 2 days. And we can even see further on, it says, so Moses and Aaron said to the Israelites, tonight you will see the power of the Lord. You will know that he is the one who brought you out of Egypt. You have been complaining about the Lord, and he heard you. So tomorrow morning you will see the glory of the Lord. You have been complaining and complaining about us. Maybe now we can have a little rest. And I read that because as soon as I was in the hospital and feeling sorry for myself, which I shouldn't have, I'll just be honest, I shouldn't have, but I was just not in the right spiritual mindset, and I was just walking with my little IV cart, and I was like, wish I could have just got my belly and just go back home and just be like how I was before the surgery. And then as soon as I said that to myself, I stopped, and I was like, what am I doing? I sound just like these people in Exodus. I am blessed beyond measure, and yet I'm over here complaining about wanting to get my stomach that was just removed to help me finally lose weight and get into a better, healthier state. And I've gone through so much, just like how the Israelites went through so much to get here. They went through so much to get to this point, being slaves of the Egyptians, and yet they're now still complaining about the fact that, oh, we have to go through all this again. Or man, I wish we could just go back again. And I just wanted to say that we just got to remember that when we go through struggles and troubling times, no matter what they are, we should just show the Lord honor and praise in all that we do, and not to just worry about the struggle. Remember again to just learn to love the process and just remember to give that to God. And I think a wonderful way to do that is to look at Philippians 2:14-18. And when I read this, I'll admit I was also like, ooh, yeah, I should have remembered this. I feel a little bad, but I know God forgives me, but I still just thought that was silly of me. But I'll go ahead and read that. So again, that was Philippians 2:14-18. Do all things without grumbling or disputing, that you may be blameless and innocent, children of God without blemish in the midst of a crooked and twisted generation, among whom you shine as lights in the world, holding fast to the word of life, so that in the day of Christ I may be proud that I did not run in vain or labor in vain, even if I am to be poured out as a drink offering upon the sacrificial offering of your faith. I am glad and rejoice with you all. Likewise, you also should be glad and rejoice with me. And that is Christ telling us that. Man, that just speaks volumes, that we should not do anything with grumbling or disputing, so that we may be blameless and innocent children of God, despite the fact that we're going to be amongst the midst of a crooked and twisted generation, and that we should try to continue to shine like lights in this dark world. So I just hope that throughout this week, if you feel like you have some complaints or have some struggles, it's okay. We need to give those to the Lord. But the first thing we should not do is not give in to our human nature and just be like, well, this is why things always just happen to me. Things just are always bad for some reason. Where are you, God? Instead, we should just go, Lord, I'm struggling right now. Please help me. Go to Him, seek Him through prayer. Let Him pour into you. I love you, and I thank you all for listening to me and just going through the steps that I've been with my bariatric surgery. I know you're probably tired of hearing me talk about it, so I appreciate that you just take the time to listen to me talk about it, as it's been the most current thing on my mind. Well, I just want to tell you again, I love you, and I hope you have a glorious week.